Hello, everyone. Sometimes I think some of you get the wrong idea about me. So, in today's video, I want to prove that I am an ally to the LGBTQ community by assisting them with branding and marketing. Because as humans, we all look to have things be succinct, eloquent, and elegant, like E equals MC squared. It's so short and succinct and perfectly written that it's a beautiful equation. So what's happening with your acronym is that it's getting a little messy. It's not aesthetic. So you can get it to be much more aesthetic and pleasing to the eye and all of the senses if you work on the branding and marketing and the whole structure of the name of your community. So here's how I think it all went down. I think it started first as L, and then the G's said, okay, we're going to group up with you, and we're going to be the LGs. And then when the trans movement came along, the L and the G's didn't even consult with the trans people. They just said, you're coming with us. So then it became LGT. And then the bisexuals felt like they should be there, so they asked to be included, and that's how we got the B. And then the Q, really, this is where things get crazy, is that the Q means queer, I think. And queer is just, it's a redundant letter in there. Actually, I'm going to explain how they're all redundant letters, and it should just be G. But because ultimately it's all just gay stuff. So if it's all just gay stuff, you can condense it all down to G. And I'm going to explain some options I have for you, which you can already see on the screen. And I'm going to explain why these two options, G++ and G unit, are beautiful options. All right, now to your acronym that's getting out of control and it's not very aesthetic. The Q is basically redundant there because all of the letters that come before Q are queer stuff. So I is, I'm not sure, intersexed. A is, I don't know. 2, that's just bananas. And S, I don't know. And plus is there. I think you put plus there because you have ideas to add something else to that acronym. There's one more community or group of people that are not there that I think ultimately everybody wants that group to end up with this group and supported by all of these other letters. So that's why I think they keep expanding it so that every sexual preference winds up in them. And so what you're going to have to do as a community is stay away from that. Stay away from, if you want to survive, you have to stay away from that last group of people. Don't include them. The day you do include them, and we can all see the videos you guys are making about being more acceptance of them or being more accepting of them, and also there's laws in California that have made the punishments for those kinds of people much less strict and severe. So they're softening the punishment for that crime, what is now a crime, which won't be a crime. I'm guessing it won't be a crime if, the community can convince everyone. So that's the way I see things going. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's the way I see it going. So the reason why I chose G++ and G unit is because they're both very aesthetically pleasing. One of them is already taken, and G Unit, 50 Cent owns that. So that's his part of his brand. And first I'll talk about how you can resolve that issue. But let's start with G++. Now, G++, I think, makes a whole lot of sense because it's elegant, it's short, and it adds everybody that does gay stuff. So maybe they're partially gay or experimenting with gay or whatever these IA2 and all that is. It's pretty much all just gay stuff. So condense it down, make it succinct, make it beautiful, make it elegant. And this way, the whole community, their branding and their marketing and all that stuff will be received a whole lot better, I think. Your marketing and your branding is atrocious. So, and also, before I talk about G++ and why G++ and why G Unit are they're very rich with details that people will notice. And so, one thing I also recommend is you got to stop taking symbolism that children love. Yeah, if you want to survive longer term, you got to stop taking symbolism that children love and trying to be around children so much when you're sexually expressing yourselves. During your ordinary workday and all this stuff, we're talking about the parades and all that stuff. That's where you get in troubles when you involve children in your sexual celebrations, which you don't see other people doing that too much. And some of the parades get very vulgar, nudity, a lot of sexual stuff going on that kids really shouldn't see yet. So that's my advice on you targeting. It almost seems like you're targeting children, and that might be a bad move. So my point in saying that was, I noticed that you choose symbolism that children love, like the unicorn, the rainbow, and everything that symbolizes your sexual identity, for some reason, are symbols that children love. And just come up with new logos, come up with new branding. You got to come up with new logos, that's for sure. Get away from the rainbow stuff because children love rainbows. Get away from the unicorn stuff. Children love unicorns. My daughter is obsessed with unicorns. And she has no idea that this thing is a symbol of your movement, and she's just going to be drawn to it. She'll be drawn to your movement because you've chosen child symbolism, or symbolism that children love. So that's another important piece of advice I can give you. Take it or leave it, but I think it's good advice. It'll help you last much longer. Okay, now let's get into these new acronyms in branding. So G++, I think G++ is special because a lot of people have heard about programming languages now, and you have something called C++. So the entire programming community will understand right away what that is. And then you also have in your original messy acronym on top there, you have a plus at the end. So it will work for everybody. Everybody will understand G++. All of these letters up here are basically, it's all just lesbian is gay stuff, gay stuff, trans, it's gay stuff, bisexual, that's gay stuff, queer is gay stuff, and all this I would imagine is gay stuff, sexual stuff that's out of the norm. So there's G and then the plus plus. So all the gay stuff is encompassed in G, and then the plus plus is all this other stuff you got at the end here. This IA, this QIA, all of this, that, plus. Plus plus takes care of that. And it leaves it so it's open-ended. It's open-ended for you. You can keep adding sexual preferences to that. And it's super succinct. It's super short. It's brief and expressive. And that is how branding and marketing is done. Now, G Unit. G Unit, I think, is very special. That's my favorite, actually. And that's why I came up with it. And I didn't come up with the G Unit It's 50 cents. And I'm going to give you an idea, because a lot of you have a lot of money, and 50 Cent loves money. And I guarantee you, if you come up with enough money, it probably doesn't even have to be that much, because he doesn't really throw the G Unit thing around anymore. He's just 50 Cent. So I think you can buy it from him. I think if you offer him $2 million, and you know how wealthy the gay community is. There's a lot of money there. All you guys got to do is get maybe $2 to $5 million, and 50 Cent will sell you the G Unit brand. And what's special about the G Unit brand is that you have all the gay stuff is there. Then you have unit, which a unit is another word for the male sex organ, the penis. So sometimes people will be using slang and they'll say, oh, my unit. You can do this way smarter. So my advice is stay away from child symbolism that children love, because it draws children in. You know it and I know it. And also your branding could be a whole lot better. This acronym you have on top here, it's so unesthetically pleasing. It's just not aesthetic. It's horrible from a branding standpoint. And the more things you keep adding here, the more ridiculous it gets, to be honest. Soon the whole entire alphabet's going to be in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if a percent symbol winds up there. Why not put an ampersand? Or the pound symbol, the hashtag. Everything's going to wind up in there eventually. You got to make it succinct. Make it sweet and short. And make it expressive and brief. So get away from the kids when you're sexually celebrating, or even when you're sexually performing. When you're performing in your sexual identity, you should, and that's a focus of your performance, then you should keep children away from that. So that's my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice is stay away from the child symbolism. And then my third piece of advice would be get your acronym in order. This is a mess. You guys can fix that. And I'm even down to create, because I do graphic design work, I'm down to create you a new logo. I'll create you guys a new logo for free if you just get away from the child symbolism like rainbows and unicorns and all that stuff that draw children in. I will take my free time and create you an awesome logo that represents sexual identities that break from the norm. Okay? I have no hate in my heart towards you, and I want to see everybody be able to be happy in this world. But as long as we keep our sexual stuff, let's try to be more, what's the word? For instance, other people don't go out and always talk about their sexuality, wear it on their sleeve. And I mean, I know if you see a man and a woman and a child, you can't say that that is them wearing their sexuality on their sleeve. They're just being human. Their sexuality is the last thing on their mind, and they don't brand themselves as heterosexual. That's the more common sexual mode, is heterosexualism. So that's why you only see people wearing their sexuality on their sleeve if they're trying to let everybody know that there's weird stuff going on in their bedroom. I've known plenty of gay men who you would never know they're gay, but they're super gay behind the closed door. But you would never know, because they're not advertising it on their sleeve. So just be careful with things like that. So yeah, I wanted to put this together because a lot of you get the wrong idea about me. You think I have a lot of hate in my heart for people, and I don't. I don't hate anybody that's gay, and I don't hate anybody that's struggling sexually. So I bet you guys thought when you saw the title of my video that I was going to come out here ranting and raving and You thought my advice to gay people was going to be, don't be gay, or don't take it in the butt. Nope. My advice was very helpful, and it makes a lot of sense. Branding and marketing is very important. All right,